Hey there, do you know how scarce Bitcoin actually is? It is like diamonds. How? Well, in this video, we will be talking about just that. Welcome to this episode of Diversified Streams. Let's get started. Scarcity is a concept that applies to a wide range of goods and services. In economics, scarcity refers to the limited availability of resources in relation to unlimited wants and needs. This means that we cannot have everything we want, and we have to make choices about how we allocate our resources. When it comes to Bitcoin, scarcity is a key factor that contributes to its value. Unlike traditional currencies which can be printed or created by central banks at will, Bitcoin has a limited supply of 21 million coins. This means that once 21 million Bitcoins have been mined, there will be no more new Bitcoins created. This limited supply is one of the reasons why many investors see Bitcoin as a potential hedge against inflation and economic uncertainty. In this video, we'll explore the scarcity of Bitcoin in more detail and take a closer look at just how valuable 0.1 BTC is. Bitcoin is designed to be a deflationary currency, which means that the supply of Bitcoin is limited and it becomes more scarce over time. This is in contrast to fiat currencies like the US dollar, where governments can print more money to increase the supply, leading to inflation. Bitcoin's scarcity is one of the factors that contribute to its value, but it is not the only one. Other factors include its decentralization, security, and utility. Bitcoin is decentralized, meaning that it is not controlled by any government or financial institution. This makes it more resistant to censorship and manipulation. Bitcoin is also secure because it uses cryptographic algorithms to protect transactions and prevent fraud. Transactions on the Bitcoin network are verified by a network of computers called nodes, which makes it virtually impossible for anyone to tamper with the blockchain. Finally, Bitcoin has utility because it can be used as a medium of exchange, a store value, and a unit of account. It becomes increasingly accepted by merchants and businesses worldwide, and it is also being used as a hedge against inflation and economic uncertainty. Before we dive deeper into the scarcity of Bitcoin and the value of 0.1 BTC, let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered why Bitcoin has become so popular and valuable in recent years? With its decentralized nature, limited supply, and growing adoption by mainstream companies and financial institutions, Bitcoin has become a sought-after asset for many investors around the world. So, if you are intrigued as we are about the scarcity of Bitcoin and the value of 0.1 BTC, be sure to smash that like button, and let's keep going. Now, let's dive a little deeper into the value of 0.1 BTC. As of March 2nd, 2023, 0.1 BTC is worth approximately $2,353. However, this value can fluctuate significantly over time, as we've seen in the past. One way to understand the value of 0.1 BTC is to compare it to other assets. For example, 0.1 BTC is currently worth more than an ounce of gold, which is trading at around $1,800. It is also worth more than a share of Tesla stock, which is currently trading at around $1,100. However, it is important to remember that Bitcoin is a highly volatile asset, and its value can change rapidly. For example, in 2017, Bitcoin's price went from less than $1,000 to almost $20,000 in just 1 year, but then it crashed down to around $3,000 in 2018. This kind of volatility can be difficult for investors to navigate, and it is one of the reasons why investing in Bitcoin is considered risky. Despite the risks, many people believe that Bitcoin has the potential to be a valuable asset in the long term. One of the reasons for this is the limited supply of Bitcoin. As we mentioned earlier, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence, and around 18.7 million of them have already been mined. This means that there are only around 2.3 million Bitcoins left to be mined, and as the supply becomes scarcer, the value of Bitcoin is expected to rise. Another reason why Bitcoin is seen as a valuable asset is that it is becoming increasingly accepted by mainstream institutions. In the past, Bitcoin was seen as a fringe technology used by tech enthusiasts and libertarians, but now it is being embraced by major financial institutions like PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard, which are integrating Bitcoin into their payment systems. This kind of mainstream acceptance can help to legitimize Bitcoin and make it more accessible to the general public. Finally, Bitcoin is seen as a hedge against inflation and economic uncertainty. In times of economic instability, investors often turn to assets like gold and other commodities as a way to protect their wealth. Bitcoin is seen as a digital version of gold, with similar characteristics like scarcity and portability. This has led many investors to consider Bitcoin as a potential hedge against inflation and economic uncertainty. Now, let's explore some interesting analogies to help understand the scarcity of Bitcoin. Imagine that Bitcoin is like a rare diamond, and each block mined is like a new cut of the diamond. Just like a diamond, Bitcoin is difficult to mine, and the process requires significant resources and effort. As the supply of diamonds becomes scarcer, their value increases, and the same is true for Bitcoin. Another analogy is to think of Bitcoin like a limited edition toy or collectible. Imagine that you are a collector of a particular toy, and only a limited number of that toy were ever made. As time goes by and the supply of that toy dwindles, its value increases and collectors are willing to pay more to add it to their collection. The same principle applies to Bitcoin. As the supply becomes scarcer, its value increases, and investors are willing to pay more to acquire it. Now, let's take a look at some statistics to help understand the scarcity of Bitcoin. According to CoinMarketCap, as of March 2nd, 2023, the total market cap of Bitcoin is approximately $1.7 trillion US. This is an impressive figure, considering that Bitcoin was created just over a decade ago. Another interesting statistic is that only around 2.3 million Bitcoins are left to be mined, out of a total of 21 million. This means that around 89% of all Bitcoins that will ever exist have already been mined. This scarcity is one of the factors that contribute to the value of Bitcoin. It is also worth noting that the process of mining Bitcoin is becoming increasingly difficult over time. This is because the Bitcoin network is designed to address the difficulty of mining every 2016 blocks, which takes around 2 weeks. This adjustment is based on the total computing power of the network, which means that as more miners join the network, the difficulty of mining increases. This increase in difficulty is designed to ensure that the new blocks are mined every 10 minutes on average. This is important because it helps to maintain the integrity and security of the Bitcoin network. Bitcoin's scarcity is one of the factors that contribute to its value, along with its decentralization, security, and utility. 0.1 BTC may not seem like a significant amount, but it is currently worth more than an ounce of gold and a share of a Tesla stock. However, it is important to remember that Bitcoin is a highly volatile asset, and its value can change rapidly. Despite the risks, many people believe that Bitcoin has the potential to be a valuable asset in the long term. Its limited supply and increasing mainstream acceptance make it an attractive investment for many investors. As with any investments, it is important to do your research and understand the risks before investing in Bitcoin. So, what are some real-world examples of the value of 0.1 BTC? Let's take a look. As of March 2nd, 2023, 0.1 BTC is worth approximately $2,353. This may not seem like a significant amount, but it is important to remember that the value of Bitcoin can fluctuate rapidly. For example, in December 2017, the value of Bitcoin reached an all-time high of nearly $20,000. This means that 0.1 BTC would have been worth approximately $2,000 at that time. However, by December 2018, the value of Bitcoin had dropped to around $3,000, meaning that 0.1 BTC would have been worth just $300. Despite this volatility, many investors still see Bitcoin as a potential valuable asset. In fact, some analysts predict that the value of Bitcoin could continue to rise in the coming years. For example, a recent report from Bloomberg suggests that the value of Bitcoin could reach $100,000 by the end of 2025, and others like Cathie Wood of ARK Investments have said $500,000. Of course, these predictions are based on a variety of factors, and there are no guarantees when it comes to investing in Bitcoin. However, the limited supply of Bitcoin and its increasing adoption by mainstream companies and financial institutions are just a few of the reasons why many investors are bullish on Bitcoin's long-term potential. Bitcoin's scarcity is a key factor that contributes to its value, and 0.1 BTC is currently worth a significant amount of money. While the value of Bitcoin can be highly volatile, many investors still see it as a potentially valuable asset in the long term. As always, it is important to do your research and understand the risks before investing in any asset. And that is a wrap on our discussion of the scarcity of Bitcoin and the value of 0.1 BTC. We hope you've learned something new and interesting today, and that you have a better understanding of why Bitcoin is such a valuable asset. If you are going to try and accumulate some Bitcoin at least 0.1 BTC and enjoyed this video and found it informative, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us create more engaging and informative content like this. We appreciate your support and hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching Diversified Streams.